Hey everybody, this is Courtney. I'm going to do a quick video here to show you how to install a latch onto your new charging handle. But along to go with that, I'm going to show you the differences between the old handle and the new handle and the way that everything's all set up and how each of them work. To make things a little bit quicker, I've gone ahead and disassembled my marker. At this point, all you're going to really need for tools is a 4mm and a 3mm Allen, and that's just to remove these screws on top, which I've already done. So at this point I'm just going to go ahead and disassemble everything. Just take out the block bolt, and then the upper rail just slides right off the receiver, like so. Now, before I go any further, I do want to show you guys a little tip that I had. I have no idea how I did it, but somehow I managed to stretch out not one but two full sets of these return springs for the charging handle. And I was in a bind and had a game coming up, so I talked to Mr. Omar, and he gave me a little tip. And basically the tip was use a rubber band. And as you can see, it works fine. I used this for about a month straight. Had no problems, maybe 2 or 3 days of play. Had no problems whatsoever. Not pretty, definitely ghetto, but it works. So I'm just going to take that apart. Now, the upper rail, I guess we'll start there. The first thing I want to show you is the difference between the old upper and the new upper rail. I hope I can get this all in the video here, but as you can see, the new rail, the one on top here, is a little bit longer. A little bit longer. It also, as you notice, only has 2 holes here versus 3 holes on the old one. Now the reason you only have 2 is because that 3rd hole here would actually get in the way of the spring system, how it all works. And it's also kind of redundant, not really needed, because the new rail has full, well, I'll show you in a little bit. But anyways, another thing is, cosmetic wise, there's no purpose other than cosmetics, but as you can see, this picketing goes all the way down to the front where it kind of stops right there. You got this flat piece. It's just little cosmetic things like that that make the gun more appealing. So kudos to Omar. I think he did a great job. We'll set that off to the side. So that's the new upper rail. Next, go ahead and show you the latch, or the handle itself. This is the new handle versus the old handle. As you can see, the new handle is significantly longer. It's got this full length piece here, which is going to keep it from wobbling up inside the receiver. You cannot pull this one out far enough to come out of the receiver, so you're never going to overstretch any springs. And on that note, when I get the spring out here, I'll show you why you won't overstretch any springs and how that all works. The other difference is that this actually has a plug here. And this plug is where you're going to put the latch. And before I start assembling the gun, I obviously want to put the latch in there, so I guess that's where we'll start for now. Go ahead and pop that plug out of there. I had it out. I just press fit it in there just to show you guys what. But I actually had to just take a screwdriver, stick it in there, and pop it out. It was not hard. So you're left with this gap there. That's where your latch and the spring is going to go. So for this purpose, for this demonstration, there's my latch, there's my spring, and there's my pin. Now the pin and the latch I pulled off an old airsoft gun, which I had parted out, and then particularly trashed because I really don't think I need anything else on there. So that the pin and the latch actually came from that. It's not pretty, but it's functional. I'm planning on getting a new latch here in a little bit to replace this one. But this was more for a testing purpose to make sure that it would work. And it does, so I'm happy for now. The spring, I really didn't have one, and I was kind of limited in what I could use. So I just took one of these return springs from the old charging handle, which I had stretched out, and I just clipped a piece off of it, and it works fine. Now, one thing I do want to tell you, though, as you can see, that's a pretty large gap in there for this, especially for this little tiny spring. So if you could find a spring with a larger coil that'll fit that, it would make installing this a heck of a lot easier. You want to use probably larger coils, but a softer spring, and I'm sure it will work just fine. For this purpose, this is all I got. And to get to the latch itself, I really didn't have to do any modding to it. The only thing I had to do is right here. I just had to grind that down a little bit with a Dremel. Took, I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes tops. It was not long at all. and most of the time was just press fitting it into the handle itself. And basically all we're doing here is we're trying to make sure that hole there lines up with the hole in the handle. And it's just a lot of trial and error. Does it fit? Did it fit? No, it didn't fit. Take it off, grind it down some more. Did it fit? No, it doesn't line up. Grind it down some more. Does it line up now? Yeah, it lines up. Okay. So once you get it all lined up, then you can go ahead and do the actual assembly. That's really all I had to do. Now for the assembly itself, it's very simple. You just take the spring, put the spring goes in the little notch there like so. You slide it all inside there and you pin it all in place. Easier said than done. So, give me a minute while I try and get everything lined up and get this working here. And I apologize for the angle, but I'm using my phone at the moment and don't actually have an actual video recorder at the moment. So give me a sec while I try and get this all worked out here. Okay, I think I got it. Now it's just a matter of getting those holes lined up, which I think I got. Now here's a little tip. Take a real small Allen key, slide it all the way through, just to make sure your hole's lined up. There we go. And there's your spring. Is everything in place? The latch is working fine. Now it's just a matter of getting that pin in place. And at this point, it's just a matter of you push the Allen key out with the pin. Just kind of hold everything in place here. I'm sorry if my finger's getting away here. Now I'm actually going in through the bottom. Okay, I got the pin in, but it's not quite all the way through. Alright, you want to make sure that pin is as flush with that bottom, because otherwise that's going to ride on the upper rail. Alright, I think I'm good. No, not quite. Well, I'll go back and nail it with a hammer later on, but that should, for demonstration purposes, that should be fine for now. So, latch is on, spring is in there, and as you can see, it works fine. Alright, now that we got the actual latch on, the handle, really guys, that's all there was to it. It was not hard at all. We'll go ahead and show the assembly. Now, to reassemble this thing, here's your spring. This is actually the return spring mechanism now, and how this all goes together I'll show you here in a second. But basically this rides inside the rail, and as you can see there's nothing to stretch because you're not stretching anything, you're actually compressing. So kudos to Omar to figure that out. Stop the stretching of the springs, we're just going to compress it. Awesome. So you take your rail, put your handle in place. Once that's in place, you want to make sure the top part, or bottom part, however you want to look at this, that's basically this piece, black piece standing up here. You want to make sure that slides into this gap right there. Hope you can see that. Make sure I'm going to latch it there. And then that should just slide right into place, hopefully. Why is this not sliding right into place? Give me a moment here. There it goes. Okay. Now, as you can see, that's in place. That rides up against there. And when you latch it and pull it back, as you can see, it's compressing the spring. So the reason you're not going to overstretch it, because there's nothing to stretch. You're compressing. And that slides right back into place. Okay. So, now that you know how that all works, we'll go ahead and reassemble everything. Take your receiver. It's actually, oh crap. Yeah, watch out for that, by the way. Alright, so from the front of the receiver, slide it on. And then slide your lock bolt in. Alright, then put your screws in. The 4mm goes in the front. Make sure your holes are lined up. And then your 3mm goes in the back. Alright, now that we got that assembled, that's it. There's your latch. Now mine's a little bit tight. It does not want to go fully forward, but I'll work on that. But as you can see, it works. It's locked in place. It's not going to come undone. Alright, another neat thing about this particular rail is, should you want to, you can actually lock out the lock bolt. It's fairly simple. I'll show you how. You got this little groove right here. You can actually stick something. What you do is you press up the lock bolt lever, and you just slide something in there, like so. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but it locks out the lever there, so you can dry fire it or whatever you need to do. And you just pull that out, and it goes back down. So, makes it easier to lock out the lock bolt. Pretty slick. And that's it. At this point, you just go ahead and reassemble your marker, and you should be good to go. If you have any questions, just hit me up on Facebook, and I'll be sure to answer them. It's really simple, and it's actually a great mod, and I think it completely adds to the realism of the gun. So, thank you.